Hey, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys. Fuji Guys are going to give you the first look today at a brand new camera called the F800 EXR model. Now, the F800 is really an evolution of our F750 and 770 current models that we've got in the market. We're going to show you the black version today, but the camera is available, depending which country you're in various colors as well. Now, I just want to tell you, if you are familiar with the F750 or 770, almost all the specifications and controls on the camera are exactly the same. What's primarily different about the F800 model is a special feature whereby you can transfer images wirelessly from this camera to your iPhone or Android phone or tablets.
That's right, using a free application from Fuji that you can use, and that application automatically can receive images off the camera and onto this, and it actually saves onto your camera roll, at which point you can actually then share that on your any social media website, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, you name it.
Yeah, so it's basically now connecting your camera to everywhere via being able to send images to your phone. Which your phone is ringing right now.
It is, and one of the nice feature too as well is that this camera having this image transfer, wireless image transfer, it can actually take your location data on your phone and use that and actually use and geotag your images off your camera, which is actually a cool feature. So even though this camera doesn't have the GPS functionality like the F770, it can do some of those GPS features by using your smartphone as the actual location service provider.
Good point. Okay, so Billy, take us through our first look, the top, the bottom, the bells, the buttons, and just tell us what everything does on this camera.
Yeah, I mean, this camera looks very similar to the F770, so if you've seen that video, there's not much change at all. Again, I'll point out some of the key points on this camera. You have the 20x zoom lens, it's a Fuji non-zoom, wide angle. Starts off at 25mm, which is pretty wide. In the front of the camera, you have these two little microphones. It does record full HD video, so you have the stereo sound mics on that. You also have this little rubberized grip right here, so it makes it a little easier to hold the camera. Of course, the camera also includes a hand strap so that you actually don't drop it. What you see in this point right here is the assist lamp. So in low light situation, the camera will fire a low light to help you illuminate the subject and for the camera to obtain faster focuses in that position. You'll notice on the left bottom side you see the EXR logo, and that's because this camera uses EXR sensor technology as well as our EXR processor technology to provide outstanding images in sort of any lighting situations. If you look on the side of the camera, of course, there is actually a button for the flash, and it allows you to pop the flash open. As you can see that the flash slightly moves to the forward a little bit because of the long zoom.
Right, you don't want to create a shadow.
If you want to disable the flash, it's basically just putting the flash back in again. On the opposite side of this camera, of course, you have the strap, where the eyelid where you can actually attach the strap. You also have a cover here, and if you open up the cover, you have access to the USB connector, which also doubles as the AV connector cable, which is included. Then you also have a mini HDMI connector that allows you to play back your photos or videos with an HDTV compatible television.
And that cable's not included.
And it's an optional cable, of course. Looking on the bottom of the camera, of course, you have the speaker so that you can play back your videos and hear the audio. You have a metal tripod mount, which is always great to have. And of course, you got your battery cover. And you slide that up and it flips open. You have access to the battery, which it uses exactly the same F750, 770 style, which is an MP50. You also have the SD slot at the bottom here, and this camera, of course, accepts both SD, SDHC, as well as SDXC cards, and even the ultra fast cards as well, which is great because this camera does offer raw shooting capabilities. On top of the camera, you have basically the on and off switch, and you just hold it down for a few seconds, and the camera powers on. You have the zoom toggle, which zooms in, zooms out. And of course, the shutter button's in between that. And like any of our shutter button cameras, you push halfway down to pre-focus and all the way down to take the photo. What's also new on this camera is the function button, and the function button allows you to have quick access to things like the ISO control. It can be reconfigured to what you like to by just holding the function button down for a few seconds. And where it said GPS on the 770 model, it now says image transfer. So it does have a wireless module here that allows you to connect to our Fujifilm app, whether it's Android or Apple, to transfer images to your smartphone. If we look now at the, back of the camera now, of course you have the majority of the space being taken by the really high resolution, high contrast, anti-reflective LCD
very,
screen.
very nice LCD.
Very, very nice in terms of brightness and contrast. So even though it doesn't have an EVF screen, it's actually very usable in that type of situation. You got your mode dial controls that you can toggle through the different modes, including the ability to control both aperture and shutter speed. Some of the cameras in this category don't offer the ability to control that, and that's a great thing with this camera. And of course, you have several other buttons here, like the directional pad that goes up, down, left, right. It also doubles up as quick access to things like the macro mode, the flash modes, the self-timer, and even the delete mode when you're in the shooting mode. In the playback mode, of course, it also doubles as the delete mode versus the exposure compensation button. You have your playback button, allows you to toggle between shooting and playing back. In fact, when you have the camera completely off, you can hold the button for a few seconds and the camera will automatically power on. If you don't want the lens to extend, you want to show everybody your images. You have the dedicated one-touch video button, and just in any mode you're in, you just push that button and it instantly records full HD video, and it also stops video. You also have when I said directional pad, there's also a little command dial, and that can be used to navigate through images as you play them back, or when you're shooting in manual modes like aperture and shutter speeds, or even full manual, it allows you to adjust your aperture and your shutter speeds. You have your display button, and it toggles between the different display options on your LCD screen, including the ability to add those grids, the rule of third grids, or even a histogram display as well, and even more information. You also have the infamous Fuji F button, or the film button is what I like to call it. It gives you quick access to things like the ISO, the resolution in the shooting mode. It's also where you would actually go to transfer your images wirelessly when you have the images on the playback setting. So that's just a quick look around the brand new F800 EXR camera, Greg. And it's, again, a really nice looking camera, nice feeling camera, very similar to the 770 with, again, that new added wireless transfer function.
Okay, well, thanks, Billy. That was a great review, top, front, bottom side of a great camera. I just also want to mention that this camera has a great new kind of rubberized finish, which is another improvement over the last model. And I've had the benefit of using this model and trying the wireless transfer feature and showing it to some people, and they love it. Like, the one thing that they say is that, you know, everything's connected in my electronics world except my camera. Well, now this camera allows you to connect to here and then out to everywhere you want to. So, great video. Till the next time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow this guy on Twitter. And until next video, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys.